Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Cathedral of Shadows, a Megami Tensei Podcast. I'm Rasen.
And I'm Mystic from TRADUKO Soft. Happy to be on here.
Yeah, it's really awesome to have you on. I guess for those of you who don't know, Mystic here is the man that is currently behind the Eternal Punishment Portable fan
That's right.
translation.
Yep. I've been doing that work since July 2014. It's announced in September.
Yeah. So he asked if he could come on to talk about it, which is actually really cool. Not often that we get guests that actually approach us with coming on, so that's some fun stuff. Um, So we thought we'd prepare some questions. For some reason, it seems like Katsu had something come up and couldn't be here, unfortunately. Rest in peace, Katsu.
Yeah. He probably fell into Wonderland or something.
Yeah, he he fell in the ball pit again at McDonald's.
Yeah. That probably was it, too. Gotta
Yeah,
get him out of there.
we need to save him. Um, Katsu. We prepared some questions to ask you, Mystic, and I guess we'll just get right into it. How did you
All
get
right.
into Megami Tensei?
Well, that's a good question and perfect for the podcast. Well, it started with Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne back in 2005. I was about 7 years old, and it was the first Shin Megami Tensei game I played. In 2006, Persona 3 was announced for Japan. It was released in July, and I was reading Famitsu about it because I had been reading Famitsu about Kingdom Hearts 2 at the time, back in 2005, late 2005, and in March that was when they announced it, and that's pretty much how I've been into Megami Tensei ever since.
So you got in really young.
Yeah, I guess I guess I was summoning demons since I was 7.
There you go. Yeah. That's something you could put on a business card in the future.
Exactly.
Been summoned
Summoning
demon.
demons at 7 years old.
Yeah, there you go. Perfect. Okay. How did was Nocturne like how did you feel about it? Because like Nocturne's pretty damn hard. Like when you were 7, did you have the patience for it, or did you get
Well, I had a lot of time when I was 7 years old. I remember Matador a lot. I had to use Izume to get past Matador at that time. And nobody in my school even knew what I was talking about all the time. They're like, "But what is this?" And I was sort of just, that was just what I was playing. And, I played a lot of JRPGs growing up.
All right, yeah, I know that feel. I
Yeah,
wasn't cool enough to get into SMT when I was young, but yeah, I was as a kid I was all about Final Fantasy and all that stuff.
exactly.
So, um I wish I played more RPGs when I was younger, because then I actually had free time. Now I have
I know that feeling. I
responsibilities.
know that feeling.
Yeah.
Now I'm translating. Like I used to say, my name is Mystic. I went from buying the games to translating the names.
There you go.
That's right.
Um I guess then we can segue into the second question. What's your favorite Megaton game?
That's a really good question because there are so many of them that I really enjoy. I mean, each have something different for me. When it comes to the Persona franchise, I'm going to have to say Persona 3, but when you talk about Shin Megami Tensei, well, I mean, it's honestly a tie between either Nocturne or 4, but I also really enjoy 2. I would say that my favorite of all, honestly, would have to be, yeah, it would have to be Persona 3 in terms of how, how modern it was.
Yeah.
But when it comes to mainline Shin Megami Tensei, I would say Nocturne.
All right. Yeah, those are both excellent choices, definitely. Um I guess then too, kind of moving away from Megaton and in
Hmm.
general what you do. How did you get into fan translating itself?
Well, it's really it's a good story actually. You see, when I was a little kid, I used to play the games, like I said, JRPGs. I also imported Japanese games, and you see, when I would import a Japanese game, I would pretty much rip the files onto my to the computer, and I would try to decrypt the files because I do programming, and so I would be able to get into the text and modify it. So I thought if I do this with other games, I might be able to translate them. So then, when I was about 14, after shortly before I was invited to do work on Type O, I started work on the Madoka project, which was, it took a while for me to recreate the font in English, but I was able to decrypt the text about 2 weeks after I started the project, and it was probably one of the best things I've done. I'm happy to help all these fans.
Yeah. So you definitely started this early because I feel like
Hmm. Loved writing as a kid.
yeah, because most fan translators I think really get into it like late teens or even like their
Yeah.
20s. You've been doing it since how early would you say? Like how old were you when you
Well,
first kind of
when I
started
started
this?
doing translating and not just decrypting the files, I would say about maybe 10 or 11 years old.
Oh,
I know
jeez.
many of the translators out there in the industry. Jeremy Bostein, he did work on the Metal Gear Solid, the first entry in the series. Alexander O. Smith, he did translations. He also is part of Bento Books.
Yeah.
So it's pretty much nice to speak to all these people. Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, you definitely
Definitely,
started this
definitely.
earlier and yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
cool. You're a lot more
Yeah.
tech savvy than I was as a kid.
Well, it all depends. It's never too late.
Yeah, that's true. Um so actually I forgot to put this down, but generally I like to ask people involved with fan translations this. I just slipped my mind when making the agenda. Do you have any advice for people that are looking into not only just learning Japanese but learning another language?
Oh, definitely. It's best to just use all types of resources. If you're learning in college, also try to learn at home too with your own resources that you found online. Don't just use resources in college because college isn't enough. It'll help, but it takes longer if you just work through it in college. You should also use resources that you found online that really work for you. Anki is it's a good program, especially when it comes to learning Japanese. There are many different types of things I could say really work when you're learning the language, especially one like Japanese, which uses its own type of alphabets.
I see. And then I guess it's probably easier now than it was even back in the day with like the advent of the internet and all that.
Yeah, definitely easier now than it was when I was a kid. Had
Yeah.
to actually go to the library and get the books.
Yeah. Um well, actually just going into your own history, but if you don't mind me asking, what really sparked that interest in learning Japanese when
Oh,
you were younger?
oh, that's a really good question. Actually, I was hoping you'd ask. You see, what happened was as a kid, I pretty much just played these types of games. I don't know. It's just all I've played since I was a kid. I've never really played any other type of game besides games that have been released in Japan because of how I grew up as a kid. I don't have an Asian family or anything. No one on my family at all is Asian. But it's part of how I grew up. I have my own sorts of problems, especially when it came to family. And games are pretty much what I did. I also enjoyed writing and just all about it was just maybe translating Japanese games and releasing them would be a good idea.
That's pretty cool. That's definitely
Yeah,
a unique history you got there. That's pretty cool actually. Um then I guess we can move right along to the project itself now that we established the Megami Tensei cred,
exactly,
the fan
exactly.
translation cred. And actually, even before you reference this, you did say you helped out with Final Fantasy Type Zero, right?
Correct. I did minor work on it with Operation Doom Train, so don't give me too much credit there. Did some little minor work, but I gotta thank that team. They're an amazing team. Did probably one of the best teams I've ever been part of.
Is there anything else that you've worked on that you want to say anything about, or just
Hmm.
that?
I've done small translations for websites, Kingdom Hearts fan sites. I've done certain translations of Famitsu magazines. Started doing that when I was 12. They were, used to translate the magazines and the ability names, especially when it came to Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance. The forum creator for KH13 is still one of my friends, and we used to talk about my translations back when I was about 12 or 13. So it's pretty much that's the only other type of work I've done: magazine scans, fan book translations.
All right.
Hmm.
Um, I guess we can move along now into Eternal Punishment Portable itself. What made you decide to translate Eternal Punishment Portable? Like when did you figure out that's what you wanted to do for your next
Um,
project?
well, definitely when I saw all of the fans wanting a translation for this game. TRADUKO Soft, my goal has been to translate games that people have wanted, and one that people always talk about is Eternal Punishment Portable. And as a Persona fan and a translator, I felt I had to do this. You just have to translate this game. That's what I thought. might as well definitely translate the game, and that's how I felt about it.
Okay, so definitely, you're doing this for the fans, correct? Like straight up,
Definitely,
just
definitely.
that's awesome. I think we can all respect that because
I
this
try
fan
my
base is
best.
great. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's some crazy people, but everybody's
Oh,
good.
there's crazy, there's crazy fans for everything out there
Yep,
nowadays.
exactly.
Yep. Um, so yeah, that's pretty awesome. This is straight up a project for the fans. That's really cool.
It's TRADUKO Soft's purpose.
Yep. Um, so then, what new content overall is added in Eternal Punishment Portable, like from the
Well,
PS1 game? I'm assuming it's pretty similar to what they added in Innocent Sin Portable, correct?
it's definitely a really nice enhanced port. You can pick through the remastered soundtrack or the original soundtrack, the battle system, and the interface has been a little, it's been modified, touched up a little bit, so it's a little better to play. It's still a little aged, but it's a lot better to play. There's a new scenario, including Tatsuya. There's, there's a few different things that make it a bigger game than the PS1 version. Definitely worth the time of translating.
All right. Speaking of the original version, actually, how much material from the original localization will you be using in the fan translation?
Well, we're trying our best to use more of a professional localization. We're going to use what sounded right in the English version of the game back when it was released for the PS1. But we're also going to be giving all the characters from Persona 1 their Japanese names, like in Innocent Sin and the PSP version. So both those games, we're going to be giving them the Japanese names again. None of the references to America will be in this translation. It's going to be just like all Atlus games nowadays. Take place in Japan, have the Japanese names. We're going to give we're not going to make it look like a fan translation. We're going to make it look professional, and there's still so much we have to, that I have to do to show this off to people. But yeah, definitely exciting. Going to be making this translation very professional, similar to Innocent Sin PSP's translation.
All right. Ha I guess then too, uh,
Yeah.
one of the new features they have added in is innocent, like you can import a save from Innocent Sin.
Yes, that is correct.
And now, from what I understand, you very clearly need a Innocent Sin Japanese version save
Yes.
to import.
For, yes.
So how is the project going to be handling this, or do you have any
Well,
ideas on the table now, or?
there are ideas now. I can't say that I've implemented them yet, but there are ideas. I'm working on them. I have multiple different Japanese saves and English saves. It's like an experiment. You can see me as Dr. Jekyll, doing his experiments in the lab with these save files, trying to get these save files into the game. And what I want to do is make sure that people who've played the American version don't have to get a Japanese save, just to play the scenario. People who play the game might want to use their level characters and their abilities, and we're trying to make that all work. So right now we have some ideas. I don't want to go too much into those ideas because I don't want people to think this is the idea we're going with, but there are definitely ideas on the table, and we're definitely going to have that ready once it's ready to reveal. I'll talk a lot more about it on my official site and on the Facebook page.
All right. So hopefully everything with that goes smoothly, and we can use our American saves, please.
Yeah, let's hope. Let's hope I can get that all done.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of that in general, what exactly in Eternal Punishment Portable is affected when you carry over a save, like in the
Well,
game?
when you carry over the save, you're given Tatsuya's scenario, and I believe you're also given Tatsuya's attributes and his levels and all of that. I know that you definitely get his scenario. When I played Eternal Punishment Portable, I didn't really notice too many changes. I just know that you were able to play with Tatsuya and the new scenario with the level from Innocent Sin. But I don't think there's too much change, though I might be wrong.
I see. How do you access Tatsuya's scenario? Um,
I believe that it's post game. Once you beat the game, you get the scenario, and if you'd like, I can tell you more about the scenario and
sure.
why it's very important. All right. Well, the scenario links into Persona 3. The scenario is actually written by Satomi Tadashi, who did the writing for Persona and Persona 2. This is not Katsura Hashino, who does the writing for Persona 1 and 2. some fans, I've always seen fans say, well, oh, Atlus has forgotten about 1 and 2. They never forgot about 1 and 2. It's that the writers of Persona 1 and 2 are not the writers of Persona 3 and 4. Satomi Tadashi was the one who wrote 1, 2, and Eternal Punishment. Innocent Sin was actually supposed to be the final Persona game. Eternal Punishment was made because hardcore fans wanted a sequel, or a finisher, to Innocent Sin's ending. So, for the PSP remake, Satomi Tadashi actually came back to write this scenario that links into Persona 3. So this is his first work in years at Atlus. He quit Atlus after Eternal Punishment, and for this PSP remake, he came back to write this scenario. So it's very important we get it translated and keep it original to what Tadashi wanted.
Now, from what I understand, this is the also in the scenario they explain why the demons go away and aren't in 3 and 4, correct?
Yes, they do. That's part of the explanation. Yes, it's like I said, it links all into Persona 3, and it gives more sense because even though 3 and 4 have different writer, Katsura Hashino, it still links into 1 and 2 mythological, wise. Philemon is still in Persona 3 and 4, and he's in Persona Q, and he's in Golden. The blue butterfly is Philemon, confirmed by Hashino himself.
All right.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. So I guess in general, how would you describe Tatsuya's scenario, like gameplay wise or just story wise?
Well,
if you want to go into it,
the gameplay wise it's not any different. It's like its own little mini game. Think of like what Devil Survivor 2 Break Record is going to have. It's going to have its own new arc episode. That's pretty much what this is. It's pretty much its own little side story. You could pretty much call Persona 2 Eternal Punishment, another side, because that's pretty much what it is. It explains what, everything that, it pretty much finishes up all the questions that fans had in terms of why Persona 3 is so different. Well, I believe it does.
Okay. Yeah. Is it like multiple dungeons, or is it just a giant dungeon, or what exactly?
I don't think there are many dungeons for the new scenario. I know that it takes place a little bit after Eternal Punishment, I believe, but I don't think there are multiple dungeons or anything.
Okay.
I'll take a look at that again.
All right.
I'm actually right now, this probably might excite some fans, but I'm actually doing some translations of the scenario right now. And I'd like to say that a villain that you've seen from Persona 1 is in this scenario. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's good. Trust me, guys. It's good. It's worth it. Please be excited. I'm not trying to sound like Square Enix here, but please be excited.
There you go.
Please understand that this will take a while. I'm not trying to sound like Iwata here to everyone, but this is going to take a while.
What would you say is your favorite thing about Persona 2 in general?
I think that it had the best direction of the Persona games in terms of the story. It definitely had the best story focus. It was dark, but it wasn't too over the top, in my opinion. I really liked the way that the story was handled. The characters, too. I also like that Eternal Punishment had, them as adults. It felt a lot more like it continued, unlike the epilogue of Persona 4 or Golden. Persona 2 Eternal Punishment felt more like a full sequel, probably because it is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
The direction that each character went in, the shadows, and them, all of that was just really good, in my opinion. Don't think that another Persona game has ever done it just like that. Hopefully Persona 5 will, and I have a feeling that it will. Just got that from the trailers that we've seen so far and what Hashino has told us.
All right. If anyone wants to help you out, first of all, can they? And second of all, where should they get in contact with you?
All they have to do is email me at support@tradukosoft.info and tell me what they want to help me with, and they easily can. We accept all types of people. Just got to tell me what your skills are, and you're pretty much in. Do some example work for me, and you're in the team. Not too hard at all.
All right. Actually, while you're here, is there anything else that Traduko is working on that you want to plug or talk about right now?
Yeah, definitely. This is something I want to talk about. With Madoka, I'm proud to announce we're halfway done with the game at this point. I'm sorry to everyone who's been waiting for over 2 years at this point. There's been a lot going on in my life, but I'm nearly halfway done with the game. It's been working perfectly so far, and I have more information I'd like to share within the next few months, meaning from November and onwards. There's a lot of things I want to talk to fans about. They're just, it's great. I hope that people will enjoy next year's build of the game. It's a lot better, and it has an easier way to patch the game. There's a lot that I want people to see and hope that they enjoy. There will be updates to the Madoka project site within the next few days, and there will be a new trailer, so hope fans enjoy it.
All right. And then I guess is there an expected release date for Eternal Punishment Portable, or is it way too early to
Uh,
even say anything about that?
I wish I could give you a release date or a release year right now. I really do. But right now, I'm working on getting the game decrypted and re-encrypted, so there's not much I can really say when it comes to a release date.
All right, fair enough. I mean, it just got announced not too long ago, and it's still pretty early on, correct?
It's still early on, but it's not going to be canceled. I'm working on it, and definitely expect it one day. There's no release date yet, and I can't tell you when we'll be able to show more info as the game's still early into translation. But it exists, it's being worked on, and it's going to make fans happy, hopefully.
Yeah.
But fans in the meantime can expect Madoka in 2015. They can expect the next patch for the game in September 2015. September 15th will be the release date. It will be very well done, the translation. There will be a whole lot more to do in the story. We've got most of the story, the script, we've written it, we just got to fit it in now. And that's pretty much it for Madoka. So one project's almost done.
Okay, so then I'm assuming too, once that's all wrapped up, are you gonna go full steam ahead, focusing on Eternal Punishment then, or?
Yeah, and as well as Conception. Conception is alive, everyone. Don't worry, it is called Conception for a reason. It's still alive. You've given it its conception. Just need some time to straighten things out with it. Game also uses special programming, so it's making things a little harder than I would have expected, but it's still being worked on. But I do want to focus a lot more on Eternal Punishment as well, as it is a game that many people have wanted for years, ever since it was announced for PSP.
Yeah. It's really nuts, man. Just this year in general. I don't know. Uh,
2014's been an amazing year. It
yeah.
definitely has. 2014, now 2015 with Persona 5 and Devil Survivor 2 break record, which reminds me, just want to say, you're a break record fan, correct? Devil
Yep.
Survivor 2 fan, yep.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I know you like that game. So I'm guessing you like The World Ends with You, right?
I've never played it.
Oh, you need to play it.
I
It's
know.
a
People
really
keep
good
telling me.
game. It's a really good game, and I'm not a fan of most Square's recent work. But The World Ends with You is probably one of my favorite games. I remember playing the Japanese version in 2007, and I was actually, at that time, I was still learning Japanese. And I was pretty much amazed at what the game was talking about, and it was nice. The English version was good too.
Oh man, yeah, I've been meaning to play that forever, but I was just gonna say 2014 has been nuts because we've had just so much unexpected fan translation work
Exactly.
for
I
Megami
know.
Tensei coming out.
I've been giving that 2014 gift. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you continued it. I actually, yeah, you were the most recent one, right? Because
Yep.
yeah, because there's the Megami Tensei 1 stuff, the Kyoyaku stuff, and
The second I announced that, I remember going on my phone and all of these people were saying, "Wow, it's being translated." And I couldn't sleep the entire night because everybody kept messaging on my page or anything that this was existing. Right now, it's the biggest project, most wanted project from TRADUKO Soft. So it's weird to think. I never promoted my page or anything. Just people have been really interested in getting their hands on this game. Hmm. It's amazing. I'm so happy about this.
definitely been seeing the love. I'm sure you see it more than I have, but just from what I've seen, everyone's really excited for this, which is awesome.
I know, it makes me so happy. So many people are so excited for this game. I'm so happy.
Yeah. And then I guess too, I should say right now that good old Mystic here said that he'll provide Katsu and I with test builds of
That's correct.
Eternal
That is
Punishment
correct. Yep.
Portable. So, ha,
Yep.
I'm laughing at everyone's face. I gotta play it early, ha.
Katsu and Rasen will have lifetime builds and patches for these projects.
All right,
For
which
keeping me on the podcast.
just pretty awesome. I'm looking forward to it. And then also, I was talking with Mystic, and he gave Katsu and I the okay, so that when we get a hold of these and we know what we're doing, and we don't show off like a bad part of the game that crashes or just completely dies or something.
Please don't. Please don't.
Yeah, we won't. We'll try our best not to. We'll be able to stream the test builds and then just kind of show them off for Mystic here.
Yeah, that'd be great. Definitely streaming them would be nice. I have my own Twitch, which I'd like to also stream too. So I mean, them streaming as well is perfect for me. Helps show fans the game. People who don't even know about these projects might learn about these projects. That also reminds me, you guys should if you're listening to this just because of the TRADUKO interview, make sure to follow them on Twitter and subscribe on YouTube to them. They have great interviews of people and talk a lot about Atlus games. And everybody likes Atlus games. Come on.
Yeah, Atlus games are great.
Yeah, don't be crazy, everyone. Subscribe to these people.
Likewise, check out Mystic's good old great site at TRADUKO Soft. I'll have everything linked below, sure enough. And we'll just have I don't know, an exciting time waiting for Eternal Punishment Portable news and all that. It's it's definitely the next big thing in the fan translation world.
Next big thing.
SMTF is finishing up possibly by the end of the year, it looks like, and then
that's amazing. I was actually considering translating that back in the past, and now knowing that it's nearly done is great.
Yeah, that's good work that Gideon Z and his friends have been doing.
Yeah, Gideon's a nice guy. His work on Neon Genesis and all that has always been great.
Yeah.
Especially with his Megami Tensei translations. I played his translations before when I was trying to learn different writing styles. They were really good.
And I guess that's all I have to say. And Mystic, is there anything you want to leave off with? Or
well, yeah. In terms of the future, nice to see another Devil Survivor fan. Sorry I couldn't buy you Break Record. I had to buy my girlfriend Break Record, but that's fine, you know? Right? It's fun.
Yeah.
Keep getting test builds, so.
Yeah. All right.
Let's hope she doesn't hate me or anything. You know.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. I guess we'll just wrap her up then, because I'm out of questions. And thanks a lot for coming on, Mystic. You've been doing good work.
It's perfectly fine. This makes me so happy.
All right, yeah. So, yeah, I guess see you, everyone. And Katsu, please get out of the ball pit. We miss you.
Yeah, please, Katsu. I don't know where you are. I was going to talk to you about Type O, but I heard you're stuck somewhere, so... I mean, it's 11 p.m. Come back home.
Katsu, you had the one chance to talk to someone about Type O, and it didn't happen. Oh, man. All right, well, see you, everyone. Bye.
Gather demons and come again.